mean, this is a quality dish. Quality ingredients, amazing, well-balanced flavors. This is gonna hold me over for a little while.
I'm gonna show you guys a complete meal. The thing about this meal is it's filled with layers upon layers of deliciousness, like making my mouth water thinking about it. I'm gonna break it down into 6 parts. Each part within that is gonna have its mise en place. So you can make parts of the meal to use in different meals, or you can make it all together like I'm gonna show today.
I'm not sponsored by anybody in this video, but I got this off of Amazon. It was probably like 20 bucks, but it's just a water stone and it has 2 grades. Blue one is like, so it's like grittier, like sandpaper, and the white one, so it's much more finer. I get cut less when my knife is sharp than when it's dull. And when it's dull, it sucks.
I love you.
Anyways, let's get cooking. We're gonna start off with the garnish. Gonna be a Thai-inspired dish. Here I have some shelled red peanuts, some garlic cloves, dried red chilies, some muckroot lime leaves, some shallots, and then I have a little bit of lemongrass, some fresh mint over here that we'll use, some coriander. As usual, I'll put all the recipe. As usual, I'll put the entire recipe in the description. First, I'm gonna prep the shallots. I just cut off the ends, cut it down the middle. I couldn't find the little Thai shallots. We're gonna use these British ones. I'm okay, baby. So this first part is gonna be probably the most intensive part of the whole thing. So you can buy fried shallots, you can buy fried garlic. Today, we're gonna make them fresh, and I'm gonna show you how I was taught in Thailand by an amazing chef named Hanuman, who teaches advanced Thai cooking. So I'm gonna add the shallots right to the dry pan. I have some brown rice oil I'm gonna use. I'm just adding that right to it to cover it. It's a fair amount of oil, but I will save this and it will be shallot oil later. Just on a medium to low heat like this. And we're just gonna stir, consistently stir as they heat up. And this process is probably gonna take a good 4 or 5 minutes. So we'll just continually stir, and you stir in the same direction. Now what Hanuman told me, and one of the reasons why, if you ever have anybody do this, if you have a restaurant and you want them to fry shallots, you have them watch them and you stir in one direction. So it focuses your mind. It helps separate the shallots so they all cook evenly. It opens up the oil and releases steam. A steam basket ready. Just making sure I push down any from the side. Definitely don't be in a rush. It requires a little bit of patience, but if you want it done right, you don't want to rush this. Okay, now you want to be super careful. Just strain them into that wire basket. I'm just going to spread them out so they can cool evenly, crisp up. Gorgeous. Look at this. Beautiful. Look at that gorgeousness. Crispy fried shallots, delicious. Perfect. All right, next thing, I have some garlic. I have 4 cloves, probably 5 in here. Yeah, 5 or 6. Anyways, this much garlic. Just enough to take the skin off. I am not in any rush with this recipe, and I don't think this is the recipe that we want to rush. If you want quick and easy, fast and delicious, then I definitely have other videos on the channel that are for that. But this one, we're taking our time, and we're gonna do it right. And we're gonna make really delicious Thai-inspired dish that is gonna amaze, and it's gonna be a great centerpiece. So if you're gonna ever have a dinner party, or if you have a date you wanna show off, this would be a dish that it will knock people right over with how delicious it is. As thin as you can get them. And the best way to do that is to have your fingers in the claw position and use your knuckle as a guide to get thin. Just add them into a bowl. This pan is cooled. I'm gonna add the garlic. I'm gonna add some of that oil, which is probably still a little bit warm, but we'll keep an eye on it. So medium-low heat, not as much oil this time. We're gonna do the same process. But again, stirring the same directions so they all brown and cook and crisp up evenly. 4 or 5 dried chilies. We're gonna add those in a second. These are starting to brown. Be careful, adding the chilies. Chilies won't take long at all. Perfect. Obviously, I can't stress enough, you gotta be careful when you're using hot oil like this. So just be very careful. I wouldn't have any kids around when you do it, just in case, eliminate any risk. Frankie's even in the other room. So lay the paper towels here. Wow, these are amazing. Super crispy. I have some lemongrass, cut off the ends. We're gonna pound it. Open it up a little bit, take off the exterior. I only want to go up about 1 inch or so because you don't want it too stocky. For the chilies, I'm just gonna break these up a little bit. Break right apart. They are spicy for sure. All right, hands wash really good. For the peanuts, I'm gonna get this on medium high heat. A little bit of that oil in there. Before I add the peanuts, I'm gonna add a couple of lime leaves. Drop the lime leaves right in. As soon as they stop bubbling, right onto the lime leaves into the separate bowl. These are raw red skin peanuts. Whatever nut you like. The peanut is more of a traditional, but I have done it with many different nuts, being a nut myself. A little bit of salt right now. These peanuts are starting to brown. Quick pat dry. Do want them somewhat oily so the seasonings stick to them. Dried chilies, make sure they're nice and broken up. Healthy pinch of salt. A little bit of the fried garlic and crush it. Some of the fried shallots, this much. Sprinkle those right in. Lime leaves. Sprinkle that all in, make sure it gets all of your hands. Oh wow, that smells delicious, that lime. Hot, 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 hot. Wow, still hot as balls. They're so freaking good. They're gonna be awesome on this dish. Hi, Frankie. All right, now for the sauce. So we're gonna make a nice, spicy satay sauce, except I'm gonna use tahini. So as long as you have a high-speed blender like this, this is the Vitamix or the Blendtec, whichever one, I'm not sponsored by any of them, you can do the whole lime. Just cut it into quarters. Right in. Now we're not gonna be babies here. We're gonna use 2 chilies because that's where the flavor is. You need that spice, and these are mild. So 2 chilies right in. Fresh garlic clove. About 1 thumb size of ginger, that's what I'm gonna write in the recipe. All right, so you see that. We're gonna add a little bit of soy, 1/4 cup. Squirt of agave, it's probably gonna be a good tablespoonful. And then I have some water. Start on low. I want to make sure that the lime and all those big chunks are really pulverized. So once that's done like that, they're down to small pieces, we're going to add in the tahini. So I'm going to add about 1/2 cup, whatever's left in here. Now you can use peanut butter. I'm just choosing to use tahini today to make sure I get all of the tahini out. Gonna scrape down the sides, make sure I get all that goodness in there. If you don't have a Vitamix and you just have a regular blender, then squeeze the lime juice out and maybe peel the ginger. But if you have one of these motor speedboat ones, it'll be fine. Next is gonna be the tofu, and I actually froze these. No way! Now I'm not a one to freeze tofu. People have asked me if I do it for the texture, but
honestly, it just takes too much time. The texture, yeah, for the little improvement that the water comes out, yes, that's amazing and it's great if you're doing that, if you have the time. But I had to freeze them and then I had to let them thaw out for a day and a half. A day if you leave it out on the counter, which technically we're not supposed to. We're supposed to leave it in the refrigerator to thaw. So I'm not a big fan, but on this special occasion.
And it feels way more like a sponge. Just a lot more water comes out of it.
And there you go. It is pretty cool, but it's so much more like a sponge to me here and less like tofu.
I'm just gonna take it and break it apart. And just pretty bite-sized pieces, that size. Like little nuggets. For the seasoning, 1/4 teaspoon white peppercorns, 1 tablespoon cumin seeds, 2 tablespoons of sesame seeds, white, about a teaspoon of fennel seeds. I'll add a pinch of salt here, a teaspoon of garlic granulated. You really want to toast these spices and herbs to draw out the flavor. It really does make a difference, and they're smelling delicious now, so I'm going to take this off.
Once you get them all nice and ground, like this, just add it all right to the tofu.
All right, so then I'm just gonna toss this up. Make sure all the spices are on there. I'm gonna add another pinch of salt, pinch of black pepper. This is cornstarch, just to cover it. Make sure they're all covered nicely. Beautiful.
So before I cook off the tofu, I'm gonna get everything set up. So, because I'm gonna fry these. I'm gonna fry them.
I have my paper towels down, fry basket thing. I got the wok ready. Unlike when we were doing the fried shallots and garlic, I am gonna heat this up first. So I want the oil in there first, and it's the same oil I've been using. It's the shallot oil and garlic oil, so it's got some flavor in there. And I'll reuse this a few times. So I'm just gonna add a fair amount. We'll get that heat on. Medium-high heat. Okay, once that oil's hot, I'm just gonna add a drop of water. Yep. It's hot. I'm just gonna lower that heat down to medium-high heat. If you let them roll down the side, it's a little safer. We'll just let them fry off until they get nice and crispy, probably a couple minutes. It's good to stir them around a little bit, keep them from sticking together. So let these cool off. So I find with the wok, just like the cast iron, be careful with this oil, is to clean it when it's hot, because then nothing sticks to it. And there's still a little bit of oil in there, because you don't want it rusting out. So all these cast iron bits, you just don't want them to rust. And even though it's still hot, I did rinse it out with water. But there, it's done. All right, we're almost there. Now, just gonna prep up some of the stuff we're gonna lay on top. So I have some chilies here. Some green onions, scallions.
This is amazing.
One lime. Lime leaves. This is where you want a really sharp knife. Take two. Put them together. Hanuman, if you're watching this, tell me, you want them shaved super thin angel hair, and I don't think I'm doing a good job. And these smell so good. Peanuts, fried shallots, fried garlic, green onion, kaffir lime, lime wedges extra, some extra chilies, and the amazing tahini dressing. Now for the main event. It's me, post-edit. I fucked up. I cut up all that lemongrass. I did that work. I put a wet paper towel on them in the refrigerator and then forgot about them. I didn't put them on this tray. What I would do if I actually used them in the recipe, because if they weren't in my eyesight, then I just didn't use them. Anyways, I would have added a tablespoon to the satay sauce when I blended that up, and then I would also have sprinkled about a tablespoon on as a garnish. Later on in the video, you'll see it. I just want to let you know I messed it up. Sorry, Frankie. I'm sorry. Back to it. I did 1 coffee mug full of jasmine rice, washed it out, and then 1.5 cups of water. So I'm going to put this rice on. If you have a rice cooker, all the better. Oh, Frankie, you've been so patient with me. Give me a kiss. There you go.
I love you.
Go enjoy it. For the final, we're going to use this bad boy. Take your knife, find the center. And that's it. Add a little bit of oil, coat the bottom. Touch of sesame oil for flavor. I'm going to salt the pan. Just going to lay these right down. If you have a second cast iron pan, rest that right on it. So I want to sear that with a really nice hot pan. Get a nice even sear. That's why I like to press it with that other cast iron. Smells delicious. Look at that. See? I preheated the oven to 200 degrees Celsius. That's 400 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to pop this in the oven. I almost forgot. I'm going to add the tofu back to the oven as well. So that's going to take about 5-10 minutes in the oven, and then we're going to garnish it, and we're done. Some of those peanuts, crush them up. It's coming. Are you excited? Because I am. Here we go. What this does is it steams the inside. It's still a little bit way more crunchy on the bottom, fully cooked on the top. So you have all this layer of texture and flavors. You have the crispy bits, the cabbagey bits. The NAPA cabbage is so delicious on its own. This is great just like this. And then it gets crunchy. And it's a really wonderful, wonderful centerpiece. I'm gonna take the satay sauce. Some of those crispy fried shallots. A little on the side, then right on top. Some of those green onions, a little on the side here, and then right on top. A little on the side over here. Some of those garlic chips, a couple right here. Then we're just gonna flake them around. A little bit more in the back. Some chilies, put some on the side in case there's a bunch of crybabies. Otherwise, we put it right on the top. Lime leaves, I'm just gonna sprinkle those. Serve this with a couple of lime wedges on the side here. And then you get the peanuts, just all over. Touch of sesame oil, sprinkle of salt. A little bit of that satay sauce. Green onions for color. For good measure, I'm gonna add the rest of the chili. Squeeze the lime. Extra for the table. Nice. And this is your complete meal. Check that out. It's so beautiful. I almost forgot one of the most important parts, even though I forgot it on the photograph. I'm not gonna forget it in the video. Fresh coriander, right? So just a couple leaves here and there. And then I would leave some on the side here. Some fresh mint I would just rip up into little bits. And now to serve it. This is how I would serve it. It's all about the accompaniments. Here you go, Frankie. Is it good? It is so juicy. It's hard to describe. It's just such a delicious texture with all those flavors, like explosion. Here you go. So that lime leaf and the chilies with the mint and the coriander and the fried shallots and the peanuts. So good. Amazing. For my neighbors, just gonna give them one whole one. And because I know it's probably not the easiest way to eat it whole like that, it has to be on the center of a table, so to cut it, I'm just gonna cut this one up. You can smell it.